Before any of you say anything, I know, I'm actually on time this year. To the many of you that are new to the channel this year, last year, or well, technically still this year, I uploaded a video basically recapping everything that happened on the channel in 2023. And as you sit here watching this video, you can obviously tell I'm doing the same for this year. The only difference being that I actually have this video coming out within the year instead of like a week and a half into the new year. I always thought this would be kind of a neat tradition to do for the channel. Last year I obviously tried to and kind of failed and succeeded at the same time. I'm obviously doing the same again this year, and hopefully I'm sitting here next year doing the same thing for 2025. But yeah, 2024 ended up being a really successful year for the channel. Firstly, the channel passed 1,000 subscribers. That has been a long time coming. Actually, as of the recording of this video, we're currently sitting at a little over 1.5k, with 2,000 subscribers not being too much of a stretch away. To me, that's absolutely insane. Considering the fact that it took me 8 years to obtain the first 1,000 subscribers, the fact that it could potentially take me a few short months to achieve another, again, is just crazy. Monetization got reinstated on the channel. That has also been a long time coming. Actually, in the few short months that I've been monetized, or well, I guess remonetized, I have actually met the minimum threshold to actually get payments from YouTube. I haven't gotten paid yet, but the idea that I could is, pretty cool. And the most important of all, just the total amount of engagement and support that the channel has received within 2024. It has honestly been the most support that I think this channel has ever seen in the entire 8 years of me running it. And what makes that revelation that much more special to me is that going into 2024, I wasn't really sure how things on the channel were going to go. Now, I have said time and time again that 2023 ended up being a kind of building block year, kind of bringing back the channel into what it is today. And naturally, most people would assume that 2024 would just kind of follow and do more of the same. But in terms of the channel, there was one major roadblock in the way, in the fact that I would be spending, and did end up spending, the first third of the year working and living in Washington, D.C. All away from, all of the stuff I used to make videos. Now, this is probably a good time to mention that I did graduate college this year. Not really important generally speaking in terms of this, just kind of helps things contextually. So to make a long story short, the reason that I ended up doing my last semester in Washington, D.C. was because, simply put, I was really sick and tired of doing useless fucking schoolwork that I know was not going to help me in what I wanted to do in the future. So instead of being bogged down by stupid schoolwork, I decided to take an internship through an internship program taking place in Washington, D.C., and pretty much work for the entire semester. The obvious problem facing the channel is the fact that I would not be home in my great state of New Jersey, hold your comments, because all of my stuff that I use to make videos is obviously all here, and obviously I couldn't take it all with me to DC. So in the 2 to 3 weeks before I ended up leaving for DC, I spent so much time just writing scripts, recording audio, gameplay footage, whatever I could use to make YouTube videos while in DC, because honestly, at the time, I wasn't really sure what I was going to be able to do. And all of that culminated in the first video of the year. Nope, not the 2023 recap, but the Mario Wonder / World video. This ended up being a very special video to me. I wouldn't call it emotional, I'd call it a little more somber. So for context, the video, or really the bulk of the video, was recorded and filmed my last night of being here in New Jersey. So all of the audio, a majority of the gameplay, which the rest of the gameplay was also recorded in DC, and especially all of the live action stuff, was filmed here the night before I was supposed to go. So when I had to be up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning to get on the road to, get to DC, I was up to 2 in the morning recording the Mario Wonder / World video. So because of all that, that video, especially when I was making it, will always hold a very special place in my heart, because at the time, it really was the last time I was actually here at home. Now, I'll be 100% honest, I was not sure how this video was going to do, mainly because of the subject matter being Mario Wonder. The game had come out a few months before the video came out, and obviously it would have been more advantageous for me to have a video like that come out closer to its release. The only thing that ended up giving me confidence about the video, though, was that it was one of those more creative kind of videos that wasn't really dependent on being out around the same time the game came out. Like I said, in 2023, one of my big plans and goals in 2024 was to start doing more videos that were more creative instead of clickbaity, particularly when it comes to videos that are revolving around certain games. Sure, it is nice to talk about a game when it comes out, because that's when most people are going to be intrigued by a game, but I wanted to start making videos that years later people could still look back on and find value in. And thankfully, very quickly, I would find out that the Mario Wonder / World video would become a very, very big success, being one of the most viewed videos on the channel up until that point. In fact, I actually kind of credit it as being the thing to foreshadow how things on the channel would go for the rest of the year. So, for context, a good video in 2023 on its first day would get anywhere between 50 and 80 views, kind of capping at a couple hundred views within its first 2 weeks. In comparison, the Mario Wonder / World video ended up amassing over 300 views in its first day, and then quickly bubbling to over 1,000 views in less than a week. That was completely unheard of for this channel, and naturally, I wanted to capitalize on that video success, making a second Mario Wonder video not too long after. What's interesting about the pseudo-sequel to the Mario Wonder video is the fact that that was the original version of what the Mario Wonder video was supposed to be. In fact, the original plan for that video had started a little before Mario Wonder even released. If I'm being honest, that was more of the video that was kind of more dependent on coming out around the time Mario Wonder came out, so although I was confident it could get some views piggybacking on the initial video, I also wasn't super confident about this one either. And much to my surprise, that one quickly surpassed the original in views and just the amount of engagement that it got, which honestly still is really, really insane to see. Now, match that with the little shitpost Mother 3 video that I created in between those two videos, amassing almost 3,000 views in that same time frame, I started to notice that this was no longer an exception to the rule and was starting to become a norm for the channel. And then we have the final video that I came out with in Washington, D.C., the Smash documentary, or as it's better known, the complete retrospective of Smash Ultimate. This had been a video that I had been kind of working on and off since Sora was revealed way back in 2021. So suffice to say, the video that ended up coming out was not really the video that I had originally intended to make. That's not to say that the Smash documentary was a bad video by any means. In fact, I actually recently rewatched, actually more or less re-listened to it, and it does get the job done in recapping everything that had to do with Smash Ultimate. But I won't lie in saying that I wish I could have done more with it. In fact, the more original version of what this video was supposed to be is kind of more present in the DLC section, more specifically in the little skits that I did talking about Byleth's reveal in Pyra and Mythra, and even Sephiroth to some extent. Will I remake it in the future? I don't know. I think the one that we have now does get the job done, but I would love to revisit anything Smash Ultimate in the future, so really never say never. But probably the most interesting thing about the Smash video for me was its overall performance. So I will admit, although I'm going to say this about the Smash video, I do say this about a lot of videos that I am working on, but the Smash one seemed to be more of the one that could have, you've been the chosen one. I had a strong belief that this Smash documentary, once it came out, was going to be the one to send this channel to the moon. Obviously, it didn't end up doing that. In fact, it kind of underperformed compared to the other videos that I had made so far in DC, which the fact that I was annoyed about a video getting like 2.5k views just showed you how well the channel was really doing compared to 2023. So, although I was a little mad that it didn't meet expectations, the fact that it was doing way better than any of the other videos that had been, on the channel in the previous year, that was really a lesson to be learned that something was going right here. Now, I'll admit, when I came back to New Jersey from Washington, D.C. at like the end of April, I didn't really do a lot with the channel. Now, I did revive the old Kirby video that was intended to come out in like April or May of 2023. It actually says that at the beginning of the video. That wasn't like imperative for me to do. The only reason I really did it was because I was in the middle of like really 100%ing Kirby in the Forgotten Land, and I thought it would have been nice to see that video finally see the light of day. I'm not sure I've ever mentioned it here on the channel, but I am a huge fan of Lost Media, so the fact that I was able to kind of revive this old project that, in my mind could be considered lost media was just kind of neat to do. What's probably more interesting about that video, though, is that it probably presents a very interesting what-if scenario if this video actually came out. Now, for context of when this video was supposed to come out, it was supposed to come out in between the original Mario Kart Wave 4 video and the Wave 5 video. Like I said, it was supposed to come out in like April or May of that year. So it would be interesting to look back to see how things would have changed for the channel if this video did ultimately end up coming out, and, what else could have come out because of that video. I can say, around the time that I was working on that video, I was working on a more creative kind of video that had something to do with Tears of the Kingdom. That one will never see the light of day because it was never fully finished filming and really can't be fully finished filming, but it is an interesting what if for the channel. But other than that and like a few other small commentary like videos, I didn't really do too much on the channel during the summer. It wasn't really until mid to late August that I started to do a lot more on the channel, and obviously it had a lot to do with Metroid. I don't know why I did a couple of Metroid videos in a row for the channel. I just thought because maybe, the first one worked, the other ones would work, and, to a point, I was kind of right. I'll be honest, there really isn't anything significant in talking about the Metroid Cluster that happened at the end of the summer. The only thing I do want to talk about is the first one, which was called The Revival of Metroid. That was a video that I had been working on for probably a year and a half at that point. I had kind of started scripting it well before I did the Mario Kart Wave 4 video all the way back in 2023. Actually, that might not be true. I think I was working on it, maybe after. Either way, it had been over a year that I had kind of been working on and off on that, and the fact that that was the one to be not only the first of the Metroid cluster, but the one to do the best, just kind of makes me feel, pretty good about myself, because that one, out of all of them, was one of those more creative videos that I had been wanting to do, and had kind of been pushing for me to do throughout the entirety of 2024. But it wouldn't be until the fall that the channel started to receive the growth and attention that had really made 2024 the successful year that it was. So I have casually mentioned throughout the video that I do from time to time upload like little, not really important videos. Sometimes they're little commentary videos, sometimes they're little shitpost videos like the Mother 3 video, but those are not really intended to be like view catchers. Those are more or less, me trying to say to you guys on the channel, hey guys, I am still alive even though I'm not uploading videos, so here's this. So when videos like that are quickly amassing a little under and even a little over 1,000 views, that means that the actual main videos on the channel have the potential to do even better than that. And obviously, I can't talk about the channel in 2024 without talking about the Donkey Kong video. Now, the Donkey Kong video is a very interesting video because it is kind of that middle ground of being like a clickbaity kind of commentary video, but also having a bit of the quality that, most of my other main uploads have. I had a feeling that that video was going to do well, but the fact that it is sitting a little under 50,000 views as of the making of this video is still something I don't know if I could really wrap my mind around. I knew it was going to do well, but for it to do that well is just wow. It's funny too because I really wasn't expecting that amount of support for that video. Even looking at the little secondary video, which I want to mention was made at the same time the original Donkey Kong video was, I felt weird that I didn't have any way to kind of address, how well that video was doing. So I wrote something in the description basically saying, hey, this was made, well before I knew this video was going to do well. Thank you. But the thing that was even more amazing for the channel was the fact that the Great Amiibo Restock video also did insane amounts of numbers. Those two videos have over 25,000 views. Obviously the Donkey Kong video is a bit higher with almost 50,000, but the fact that the Amiibo video has almost 30,000 views is just insane to me. That video was one I was not confident in whatsoever. It was one that I had been kind of kicking down the road since I had gotten home from DC. So a little history about that video. That video was kind of like the last kind of ditch effort to do anything in regards to DC. I had recorded a lot of footage for a documentary that I wanted to do of basically just me living in DC, but at some point, I think like by like week 5 when I was still kind of working on it, my heart wasn't in it anymore. I realized it would have taken forever to make, forever to write, and forever to come out, only to get like, what, a couple hundred views. Not really the best choice, to place my time in. So from there, with the mass amount of footage that I had just living in DC, I wanted to make at least a few couple videos just to kind of justify me having the footage and having them on an SD card. Originally there was going to be like a Lego in DC video. That never ended up happening. And then it all just kind of fell on me doing an Amiibo video in DC because that was one of the more interesting kind of journeys that I had while living there. So obviously with all the DC talk, this was originally supposed to come out at like the end of May, and it obviously didn't. Then it was supposed to come out in summer, and then the fall, and then I think it ended up coming out in November. The problem was that I never really filmed anything for it because I really didn't have anything written for it for the longest time, and by the time I kept just kind of kicking this project down the road, I just kept buying more and more Amiibo. And when I say I wasn't confident about this video, that doesn't mean that I think the video was a bad video. It was just one that I had kind of procrastinated for way too long, and it was just get it out because at this point you'd be stupid not to. In fact, I was really so not confident with this video that the little new 548 Studio stinger that follows the end of all the videos, I know it's not in like a bunch of videos right now, but it will be come 2025, that was originally made for the Great Amiibo Restock video, and I was just so not confident and just not really that proud of that video that I decided to end up taking it out. That's also why I was talking in the end card section and then it just kind of ended. But wow, I was really really proven wrong. I think the thing that makes me feel that much better about this video doing well is that that is another one of those really creative videos that I have constantly been talking about throughout this video, but also throughout 2024. The Donkey Kong video, I can see how that has almost 50,000 views, but an Amiibo hunting video in 2024, how the fuck does that have 30,000 views? And I mean, the irony in the way that I look at this video is really, really funny. Obviously, like I said, it's sitting at a little under 30,000 views. But it was also the video that not only kickstarted the channel being monetized, but also is the thing that pushed the channel over that 1,000 subscriber threshold. Which, to be honest with you, if I were to choose any video that would have been the one, or if I were to guess what video would have been the one to, help me achieve those goals faster, it most certainly wasn't going to be that one. And then, because it technically did release this year, I did upload another Metroid video a couple weeks ago talking about Metroid for NES, and it actually is done way better than any of the other Metroid videos that I did earlier in the year, and I am very glad that it has done so. The Metroid NES video was a pretty interesting turnaround. I was playing Metroid just, I think, for background footage, and then I was just kind of thinking about how much I really like the original Metroid, and that's kind of how the video started from there. It was a very quick turnaround time from, the concept to the actual script, except for the editing, because there was a lot of technical difficulties in the editing process with my editor, so I am going to have to improve or at least get some new editing software in 2025. If you follow me on Twitter, then you probably already know the kind of battle that I have been going back and forth with to get this video out, but I am glad that it is out. But yeah, that was 2024. Where 2023 I saw as kind of me rebuilding the channel and reestablishing the channel as to what it is today, 2024 is the year that things really started to pay off, more particularly obviously in the fall. I was starting to get more and more views on videos, I was starting to get more and more subscribers, and I was able to accomplish some pretty cool goals. Like I said, the fact that 2,000 subscribers is not that far away time-wise and also just kind of numbers-wise is insane. And the fact that I am actually now making money on this channel is another thing that just kind of, encourages me to keep doing this for much longer than I think I was anticipating. But as we sit here on the last day of 2024, what are the plans for the channel in 2025? As much as I'd like to say more of the same, that actually isn't the case. Now, I'm not going back to Washington, D.C. for the first third of 2025, but I am going to be incorporating some major changes for the channel. I'm not sure how many of you have noticed it at this point, but I am remarkably inconsistent when it comes to uploading videos. Typically what happens is I get an idea, I kind of write it, I kind of record some audio and gameplay, and I just kind of upload whenever I feel like it. In 2025, I do want to make more of an effort to upload more videos, but also, kind of timing out videos so that I'm a little bit more consistent. As of right now, for the month of January, I do have 4 scheduled videos to come out. One's actually supposed to come out sometime, hopefully this weekend. That's like my target, like last possible deadline for the video. But I am, right now, as of making this video, have started kind of planting the seeds of being more consistent for the channel. Additionally, as you've probably heard me mention a dozen times in this video, I am going to be trying to do more and more creative type videos on the channel in 2025. In 2024, I think I did a pretty good job of doing a lot of videos like that, but in 2025, I want to pretty much make that the only kinds of videos that I'm making. Now, granted, with 2025 being the year of the Switch 2, I am obviously going to do a bit smaller videos and a bit more time-specific videos talking about the Switch 2 and probably Nintendo Directs, because I just kind of like doing that, and honestly, I kind of feel obligated in doing that. But generally speaking, you're going to see more creative videos coming out of this channel in 2025. Along with that, I also plan on doing some videos that have nothing to do with Nintendo and gaming in general. I know that the channel has pretty much made itself off of doing Nintendo content, and don't get me wrong, that is still going to be the bulk of content that I'm going to be making in 2025, but don't be surprised if you start seeing videos based on other topics and other hobbies of mine appearing on the channel as soon as January. Obviously, I am a huge Nintendo fan, but I do also have a lot of other interests and a lot of other hobbies that I would love to discuss on the channel and make really good videos for. It's not like I'm going to start making clickbait videos for different hobbies like comic book movies or some shit like that. All the videos that I'm going to be making, especially the ones that have nothing to do with Nintendo, are all going to have a reason to be on the channel. Now, piggybacking off of the hobby talk, another one of my major hobbies is Lego. And for the many of you that may not know, I also have a second channel that is completely dedicated to Lego. It's pretty much the same thing that I do here, except all Lego-centric. In fact, I'd actually argue that I'm a little bit more brash and uncensored over there, just because I find it funny. But yeah, I'm a huge Lego nerd. I like Lego. and I plan to use that channel a lot more in 2025. I've tagged it quite a few times this year. In fact, that's actually where this year's Christmas video is. But if you do really like what I do here and you do like Lego, I do also suggest following that channel as well. I just want to take this last minute to thank each and every one of you for not just listening to my ramblings this year, but also for making 2024 the amazingly successful year that it was. Because honestly, as much as I say it and as sappy as it sounds, none of this is really possible without any of you. Currently, right now in my personal life, I am going through quite a lot of different things. I'm going to be having to make, and I'm currently kind of making a lot of important decisions that are not only going to affect me in the present, but are also going to affect me in the future. And 2025 is shaping up to be a really integral year for that. So the fact that you all have allowed me to look at this channel as maybe something that I could do long term is just really amazing to sit here and say. Now, granted, when I did bring back the channel, or really the entire time of me making videos on this channel, I did want that to be the end goal. I did want, to do this long term. There is a difference of saying it and telling yourself that, and then being able to actually sit here and tell an audience of viewers that that actually could be possible. And if 2024 is any metric to go by, I think we could potentially be looking at a very successful 2025. But again, thank you all for a very successful 2024, and I hope each and every one of you has a very good New Year's, and here is to another great year in 2025.